alongside him on the front row. The second row, Dan Eves and the reigning champion Ivan Muller in the Vauxhall Astra. We've got another Vauxhall up next. It's Luke Hines. He's got Rob Huff in the Seat alongside him. Then it's race one winner here today, Anthony Reid and Sean Watson-Smith. They had a big dice earlier on. James Kay and Jason Hughes are next. And then we've got Rob Collard, who was out of luck with a fuel sensor in that second race. Farik Harriman's next door to him. John George in the LPG-powered Peugeot is next up with Richard Marsh in the Honda. And then towards the back, some quick people to watch for. Tom Chilton and James Thompson, both out of luck in race two. And on the final row, Colin Turkington. I don't think we're going to see Carl Breeze. He had a broken wishbone in race two. I don't think they've been able to get the car back out onto the circuit. So he's missing from the back. But three very, very quick drivers, Tom Chilton, James Thompson and Colin Turkington, Tim, all starting from the back.
Absolutely, they are the very, very quick. We saw Thompson up into second place in the first race. Turkington finished second on the road. Chilton was third. These are three of the fastest guys here this weekend. And if they don't race each other too hard, they should be able to come through the grid.
But it's a tough place on which to overtake. So they're going to have to be pushing their way through fairly aggressively, I would think. It's another 22-lap race. Jason Plato, winner of 2 races at Croft last time out by doing what he has done here. That was to drop back to 10th place in the first race, ensure a great starting position for race 2. He's won that one, and he's now on pole for race 3. But he's carrying ballast, remember, that could change things as we get all ready for round 21 of the Green Flag MSA British Touring Car Championship to get underway here in Scotland. Away we go. Good start again from Jason Plato. Going with him is Matt Neal and Dan Eves, and everybody I think is away cleanly from that standing start down towards Duffers Dip. Plato holds the middle of the road. Matt Neal follows him through. Anthony Reid there with Rob Huff side by side behind them, and they're coming still side by side into McIntyre's. Anthony Reid on the inside, Rob Huff going around the outside of him. Great battle between those two, and it's still continuing as they come up to the chicane, but Plato's making a break. Huff over the grass, so is Reid. And those two, it always looked like something was going to happen. And Dan Eves now making a move to try and get past his teammate. He's done it. He's into second place as Plato is getting away.
Plato's got the art of starting this Seat absolutely nailed. He's made a brilliant start every time he's been on the front row. Luke Hines on the third row backed everybody up with another poor start. He made one at Mondello, but Eves looks to be on a mission, and so is Huff.
Yeah, here comes Rob Huff, but he's squeezed down there by Ivan Muller. Muller just eases him out to the very edge of the track, and Huff has to tuck in behind him once more. Then it's Anthony Reid and the MG. Behind him is Sean Watson-Smith. Then it's Luke Hines, and this is a good battle. James Thompson trying to get past James Kay, and Thompson's up to 10th already. That's a fantastic first lap from Thompson.
Absolutely brilliant. He took advantage of all the ongoing action in front of him. He's come up higher than Chilton from the back of the grid. A great start, and Turkington down in 15th place.
So the leaders coming through out of the chicane already. Rob Huff once again trying to get past Ivan Muller. They've got Matt Neal just holding them up a little bit. The ballast on that Honda is hurting. In the background you could just see Luke Hines getting on the grass, but here Ivan Muller lost a bit of momentum and he's now under pressure from Rob Huff. Rob Huff's got a slightly quicker straight line speed advantage, but Muller locks up side by side into the hairpin, and Muller's going to squeeze out again, and I don't think Rob Huff has got past him there, no, but he might have a chance at the next corner because he's on the inside line now, and the next corner's a right-hander, and look at that, he just pulls away, pulls past him as they come up over the hill, down into Duffers Dip, and Huff's through.
Great driving by Huff. He cut back to the inside while we were on board with Ivan Muller, who's fighting back into McIntyre's. Side by side, Muller's put him out wide. He's going to have the advantage down through the dip and up to the chicane.
Great racing between these drivers. Rob Huff still in his first year of touring car racing, of course, coming up against the reigning champion Ivan Muller and giving as good as he gets, but so far so good. It's pretty clean. There's Thompson squeezed on the grass this time, but look, he's got past Luke Hines, and that's put him up another one into 8th place. Luke Hines won't give it to him though. He might be his teammate, but he won't make it that easy. And in fact, Hines is coming back down the inside. Reid as well. Anthony Reid dives past the Seat. Hines got past Thompson in the background. Don't know where to look next.
It's action of plenty in this year's British Touring Car Championship. This is the final race of the day. The cars at the front are the heaviest, the cars behind the lightest. They're trying to fight their way through. Reid's on a mission. He's still a championship contender. He won the first race. He wants a top 4 or even a podium this weekend.
Yeah, he's had a very consistent season. He's only had the one win. That was Croft last time out. You're looking from that MG. Look at Ivan Muller. Oh, he was so quick up there through the chicane. In fourth at the moment. Collard's off in the gravel. He might get restarted, though, as Muller defends. And over the curb on the exit there. Thompson using even more grass in the background. Trying to get past his younger teammate, Luke Hines. There's a stationary yellow up there. Not sure how far down the track that comes, but of course, you're not allowed to overtake where there's a yellow, and it's this area. So now they'll be able to overtake again as they exit the hairpin. And Collard, yeah, he was in the gravel, but he's coming into the pits.
Dan Eaves has been very quick in that orange Computeach with Halford's Honda all weekend. Here back in 2002, and he does have this circuit absolutely nailed. By contrast, his teammate Matt Neal is going backwards.
Yeah, Muller's past him, and now Reed's coming past him. And Rob Huff, everybody's barging Matt Neal out the way. Very rudely removed from what was initially third. Now he's way down the order, dropping back corner by corner, looking back from Anthony Reed's MG, looking over the boot lid, through the rear wing, and back at the Seat of Rob Huff. But it's his teammate, Huff's teammate, Jason Plato, who leads again by 1.1 seconds at the moment over Dan Eaves. But Dan Eaves is going quickly. He might be able to close up that gap. Out again goes Rob Collard, but he's having a tough time. And we're riding on board with James Thompson as Luke Hines has a go at getting past Watson Smith. Oh, this is good stuff. Trying to come back on the inside. And
Thompson may get two places here if he's got the run up the inside. He's certainly going to get one place. He's going to get the past the Proton as well. Although the Proton's very fast on the straight. And look at Chilton up behind. Chilton as well started at the back. Oh, he likes the two-wheel through that corner, but it's a dangerous tactic. Will he have the inside for McIntyres?
Not quite, doesn't quite get past the Proton, but James Thompson, as you say, is past the Proton, so he's now in 8th place, and Thompson's so fired up here. He's lost a chance at the championship here at Knockhill in previous years. He does not want to lose the chance again here today. He's already been out of luck. He didn't finish race 2, and Thompson so determined to try and catch back up to Ivan Muller in this race and stop Muller getting away in the championship. The gap's 7 points coming into this race. Look behind there, you can see Matt Neal in the orange car, then the two BX Racing cars. Here's Tom Chilton again in the black Honda, putting the pressure on Sean Watson Smith.
Very lot of pressure in the middle order here. Thompson racing for all he's worth. It may only be a 7-point gap up to Ivan Muller, but he is racing as though this is the championship decided, really going hard.
Now, Luke Hines has got the task of trying to get past Matt Neal. Matt Neal, one of the most experienced touring car campaigners there is. He's in the orange Honda. The Computeach racing with Halford's car. Up the hill, we're with Thompson, who's at the back of that same group. And Thompson may be able to take advantage of this here because they're fending each other off a little bit. Matt Neal has to take a tight line in. Thompson takes the ideal wide line in. Can he find some space? Oh, he would love it if his teammate would help him.
Here comes Thompson up the inside of teammate to Hines to try and repay the favour. He was passed on the inside. He's going to have it. Don't hit Matt Neal as he turns in. Matt is very slow through the chicane further back. He hasn't been watching our ITV coverage to see the quick line through there.
No, he's not cutting the road, we're cutting the corner quite as much as some of them are. But as you say, Thompson's now got past Hines. Here we are, riding on board with James Thompson, heading down towards Duffeston. But Matt Neal is just that little bit too far ahead of him. Neal hops over the curb, not quite as much two-wheel action as we saw from Chilton, but still very close. Bit wide there from Matt Neal.
Yes, this is the section where the others are a lot quicker. Watch the line through the, hopefully the head-on camera. Matt Neal takes it quite tidy. The others cut more of the chicane off and carry more speed out of the corner, which leads down to the next one, and therefore an overtaking. Classic overtake by Thompson, exactly as we called it.
Side by side those still, Tim, as they come out of the corner. Great clean racing between Matt Neal and James Thompson. 2 stars. And look at Reed. Reed's got on the inside of Ivan Muller, and he's taken 3rd place. Well, that's a really dynamic move from Anthony Reed. It was clean too, and he's moved into 3rd. Muller is back down to 4th position, and Rob Huff's right there with them too. So for Anthony Reed, race 1 winner. He's on. Oh, Thompson's been hit. Thompson's been hit by somebody. There's smoke pouring from his car. How much damage is done? He can't believe this. Every time he goes out, he's been hit by somebody. Oh, and surely he's in trouble here.
The problem with the back of that car, that is the car that he damaged in practice. The whole of the back of that car was smashed in. It's really only made of pieces pieced together tape and a little bit of metal welded into the back. It's certainly not as strong as a standard car. So any accident, any damage like that is going to cause a multiple effect of crushing, and it's pushed the bodywork onto the tyre, but he looks to have got away with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That right rear looks as though it might have been knocked slightly askew. It's hard to say. Let's wait and see. He might be able to hold on to it with just a little bit of bodywork damage and nothing else. Down towards the hairpin they come now then. And Luke Hines trying to defend from Colin Turkington now. The other man that started at the back, beginning to make his presence felt here. He's into the top 10, and he'd like to move up a little further if possible. Thompson's still going quickly, so hopefully that damage really isn't making too much difference.
He looks to be lapping at competitive speeds. He's got to the front of that little group, but it's 6th place, and there's 5 seconds further up the road is Huff, so big gap to the next group.
You saw the leaders come through. They're close now as well. Plato's under pressure from Dan Eaves. Meanwhile, just looking back, this was, we think, when Thompson maybe got tagged. Well, there was just a bit of barging going on there. Hard to tell exactly what happened. Luke Hines in this Vauxhall with his bumper, look at it, trailing there, and Turkington's going to take that bumper off in a minute. There's the battle for the lead though, and look how Jason Plato has now got the orange Honda of Dan Eaves behind him. They've just lapped Rob Collard. He's not in the battle, but these two most certainly are.
And Eaves is really charged up here. He had his first BTCC victory this year at Alton Park. He's looking for his second. Plato though has led more laps than anyone this year, and is absolutely a master of driving under pressure. He's a champion, and he can withstand the pressure, so Matt's going to have to put off something very special to get past. Further back, Turkington's got past Hines.
Yeah, Turkington has taken 7th place from Luke Hines, 8th now for Hines, and then Matt Neal dropping away, but this is the battle for the lead. Plato flicking his wipers on. I wonder why that happened as he went through the right-hander there. Doesn't slow him down any, of course, and it's Plato, Eaves, and look how Anthony Reid has caught them. He's got the fastest lap, Anthony Reid. He's now making it a 3-way race for the lead and for the win in the final race of the day here at Knockhill. Further back, Tom Chilton's there in the mix. 4th place at the moment, though, is still Ivan Muller from Rob Huff.
Not even halfway through this race, and there's a lot more can play out. Will Dan Eaves continue to attack Jason Plato, or will he be forced to defend from Anthony Reid and give Plato a bit of a gap? Reid needs to try and get past quick, or Eaves needs to make a decisive move.
Jason Plato is having to drive defensively now, and what he's trying to do is to put that second car in the group in the middle of the sandwich there. He's trying to almost allow Reid to close up, isn't he?
Very much so. He's trying to back Dan Eaves up on the road. Dan Eaves, oh, this is brave, it's getting tough. This might work. This might work. That was a good, clean move. He got clearly up the inside. There was a little bit of contact, but it was absolutely side to side.
So Dan Eaves takes the lead from Jason Plato, and Anthony Reid now coming up into 2nd place, but Plato's trying to come down the inside to stay in 2nd. And remarkably, Dan Eaves has closed on, caught and passed Jason Plato, and he's moved ahead of the Seat Honda, and now in front at the track Knockhill, where they took their first win with the Civic Type R 2 years ago in the hands of Andy Prio, and now it's Dan Eaves doing likewise with his car, pulling away here from Jason Plato and Anthony Reid.
Yes, these battlers. Reid slips up the inside of Plato. Plato's now starting to suffer with halfway through the race, with the extra weight taking its toll on the tyres, and look what's happened. Ivan Muller and Rob Huff, who were running further back in 4th and 5th, have now caught up to make this a 4-way scrap for 2nd place.
Oh, and Reid's got the inside into Clark Court curve this time, and it's got to be Plato who's got to be careful, because now Muller might get him as well. Muller trying to get alongside. These two have real history between them. They used to be teammates. They fell out big time a couple of years ago. They've had a couple of dices this year at Mondello in particular where it went wrong, but it's clean at the moment. Muller has got past Jason Plato, and now Plato only has his teammate Rob Huff right behind, and you can see the difference that the ballast is making to this man, Jason Plato. He can't be as quick as earlier on because he's carrying more weight in the car.
This is the way the rules are set this year. This is the way to penalise the winners. It makes for some fantastic racing. As you say, Jason Plato was able to win the 2nd race fairly comfortably, just can't keep the pace up with the success ballast added. And he's now got his teammate Rob Huff, who's at the moment being fairly gentle with him at the back. But will Rob Huff suffer? Oh, Muller's had some contact.
Yeah, he's got the tyre rubbing on bodywork like Thompson had earlier on. Thompson's still running in 6th place at the moment. You just saw him in the background there. But Muller now with a bit of damage to the bodywork. Now Plato will try and line him up for another pass. Down into the hairpin, Taylor's hairpin. Oh, here we go. Is he going to give him a nudge? He does. He gives him a little tap into the corner. He goes one side, Huff tries to go the other, and Muller is sandwiched in between, and Plato's back through.
Muller will not like that. It's his arch enemy, Plato, just easing him wide on the brakes there. Now he's got the other Seat attacking him on the other side. They are quick up the straight, even with the balance. Will Muller brave it out on the inside? They're going to be side by side round. Clark just holds it. Muller will be absolutely fuming. That bumper's finally come off, so he hasn't got that to worry about. The only danger in this race is failing the weight check at the end of it, I think.
Yeah, there's not much left on that car, but it's still going fast. He stays ahead of Rob Huff. Huff goes very wide indeed. Oh, he was lucky to get back on the track there, and Muller is given a little moment's respite because that cost Rob Huff about less than half a second. But look how James Thompson's catching this group. Thompson's going quickly at the moment. Some quick laps, a 55.8 last time around, quicker than the rest of this lead pack, although it's still Anthony Reid who set the fastest lap early on. And look at Reid. Don't forget Reid here. He's still in second and catching Dan Eves a little bit as we look at this great race for third position. Plato, Ivan Muller, the two great rivals of recent years in touring cars, the two who battled over the 2001 championship, and Plato nudged him and Muller says, I'm going to get my revenge here, I'm going to give you a nudge. And oh, it's so close. It's about 80, 90 miles an hour through there. They're nudging each other. Muller now trying to get up the inside. Oh, they're pushing each other. Muller goes off. Muller's on the grass. And Plato's got through safely. And it's Thompson's got between them now.
Knockhill always produces fantastic racing. That is the exact place that Thompson, his teammate, went off in the first race. Now Muller's had the same medicine dished out to him. This championship just fluctuates one way or the other. As we see Chilton in the gravel, surely there's going to be a safety car with damaged rear suspension.
Yeah, very bent right rear wheel on that one. Thompson now under pressure from Rob Huff. But for Thompson, this is major, major news. And up front, I think Reid's got in front of Eves. I think there might have been a change for the lead. There has. Anthony Reid has got ahead of Dan Eves just as they went over the line ahead of us. There he is. The MG's got in front of Eves, and Reid, who won race one earlier on today, has got ahead once again.
Fantastic drive by Reid. He's driving better than ever this year. Accidents and contact aside, I've never seen him more fired up, and he's got the car underneath him now. If only he'd had this at the start of the year. It's absolutely flying.
Well, the championship's not over from Anthony Reid's point of view. He might be some 35 to 40 points behind, but you know, if he can keep up this sort of performance, if the team WSR can keep up this performance, they've really been the fastest at Croft, they've been the fastest here at Knockhill, they were pretty much thereabouts at Mondello, and if they can carry this on, well, who knows, maybe Reid can still challenge for the title. Dan Eves, I thought, had made the break, but Reid just gradually reeled him in. He's gone ahead, 17 laps completed, still 5 to go, and behind them, that group are still fighting over third place. Hammer and Tong, Jason Plato and James Thompson, all of them still in the mix there.
No sign of a safety car, so the marshals have obviously done a good job there, and the race will continue. Reid is going to take maximum points, assuming he finishes here from the weekend. That is always the target. He raced well in the first race, obviously took victory, didn't compromise anything to try and play a tactical game like Sayed have done, and now he's come through in race 3 and he looks like winning again. That will be a fantastic achievement.
Now, James Thompson's in the middle of this group. He should be aware that his rival, Ivan Muller, still running. He's down in 9th place. Huge opportunity for Thompson to close up the 7 points that he dropped earlier on today. But he's got to survive that, and he's got some very racy people around him. Turkington and Huff right beside each other, coming through the hairpin once more. The two youngsters who've impressed so many people, not only this year but last year as well, Turkington in particular, and still they're racing hard behind James Thompson. Leaders come through. Who's going to go for it into Duffer's Dip? It's Plato holding on to the final podium position. Thompson follows him down the hill, through the dip, through the compression there, and it's still Rob Huff at the back of the group locking a brake.
Turkington and Huff are the two young chargers. All the top teams are looking at them. They really have great futures in front of them. I think we're going to see them in British touring cars for many years to come. And here comes Huff. He was so quick through the chicane. He has been all weekend. Thompson's having to defend. Turkington blocks as well, but they've got to run through Clark.
It's just fantastic racing, Tim. This is exactly what we want to see from touring cars. It's brilliant. You don't know where the next move's going to come. And Turkington now had a think about getting past Thompson. Thompson, perfect pole position there, but he's got alongside Plato. Plato made a little mistake there at the hairpin, and suddenly James Thompson's got a chance, but Turkington's going to try and make it 3 abreast as they come up over the hill. Back marker in the way. Oh, they squeeze past it somehow, and Turkington's going to come back again into Duffer's Dip. Thompson's into 3rd, and Turkington's going to try and get past Asea to move into 4th. Bit of contact, he's through.
That was great. I think Plato must have just locked up a little bit at the hairpin and run a fraction wide, and that was all the chance that Thompson and then Turkington needed to go. You can't get back into line. If you lose one place, there's someone else there just to dive up the inside and take that place away from you.
Battle of the teammates there. Meanwhile, Farik Harriman has had an incident somewhere because there's bits coming off the car. Not quite sure what happened.
I think he's run wide at Clark and done a repeat of what he did in the second race, taken the splitter off. No surprise that, but I think Rob Huff is sitting dutifully behind Plato at the moment. He could have passed as well, but he hasn't tried to, so he's obviously trying to get maximum points for his teammate.
Struggling up that hill, I reckon, is Jason Plato with the weight on board. There's second place man, Dan Eves, and this has been a great run from Dan Eves, but at the end of the day, the MG just seems to have the edge around this Knockhill circuit, and it's Scotsman. There he is, Anthony Reid from Ayrshire, the 47-year-old, the veteran of the British Touring Car Championship, who is really coming on strong in this second part of the season. Thompson through, Turkington, these two in 3rd and 4th positions now. We're on board Ivan Muller. He's still going, he's in 9th behind Matt Neal. That's the back marker. Richard Marsh just moving well out of the way, doing a fine job of getting out of the way of these guys. Muller desperate to reclaim some points. It's been a complete reversal of race 2, and it's Thompson who's going to gain on this one as opposed to Ivan Muller.
James Thompson's 3rd place is by no means assured. Here comes Turkington. He's got a long side. This is the perfect run up the hill and into the first corner. Turkington's going to get that final place if he can get past here. Will Thompson braid it around the outside? We've seen him do it. No, he's too far back.
The power of that newly developed 4-cylinder Judd-developed MG engine was able to carry Turkington up the hill and move him past James Thompson, and Turkington now into 3rd place. So MG's looking to finish 1st and 3rd here in the 3rd race of the day. Don't forget, oh, Plato very wide, he's on the grass. Oh, and his teammate goes past him. Plato had no choice there, really, but to let his teammate through, and he's almost let Luke Hines past, and Hines will still get a run on him down towards the hairpin. It's the last corner of the last lap, and Anthony Reid is going to make it 2 out of 3 here at Croft today. The win in race 1, the win in race 3, and that was a brilliant race from the veteran. 2nd goes to Dan Eves. 3rd place goes to Colin Turkington. Thompson comes in 4th place. Knockhill, of course, I meant to say. Across the line, side by side there, Rob Huff and Luke Hines and Jason Plato. It's Hines and Plato absolutely together, and Hines finished in 6th place with Jason Plato in 7th. So Plato, the race leader for so long, but dropped right back and finished in 7th in the end as Anthony Reid comes good here at Knockhill. After making his way through the grid, he started in 7th position on the grid, fought his way through one by one, and